Hi guys, this is Dr. Nick here. So today I'm just going to go over kind of after the scan where we come to the conclusion of our analysis. So this document here is usually put together during a scan with the patient in order to give them a summary of what's going on. So like the top part here is the complaint that we came up in the first part before we even scan in terms of what's been happening in terms of symptoms. The second part here is the system disorders, like we talked about previously in the express monitoring video, in terms of the filter systems that are weakest, or the weakest organ systems in a sense. And the third part here in this thing is the echelon processes, which in terms of what might be happening or in a person in terms of possible diagnoses, in terms of pathologies that are occurring. So we have a list of here, and also we have a list here of possible different specific healthy organs that we can support and treat. And as we go down, then we have the microorganisms that came up. In this person, you can see that cytomegalovirus was in an active process form because it was below 0.285. So that's what it's showcasing here. And it's showcasing where in the body these stresses lie from this microbe. And as we go to the next page, we see that it's found in many different areas at a very low coefficient. So this is a big possible stress on the system for this person. And then also we do see another virus, which is the herpes virus, and that again is below 0.285 in some areas, which is the chest and the head and frontal region. So we know that those are two important ones that we want to make spectronosodes against. And then there's two other ones that came up. They were in the inactive form, so they weren't below 0.285 to say they were in an active form, in an active process. However, with this patient, we came to the conclusion that it kept coming up in many different areas, the candida, but not just candida albicans or crucia, but different forms of candida. So we know that there's a lot of stress in the background from candida, and it could be that they're doing something to put it in the background so it's not in its active form. So we still want to be mindful of that and possibly treat it with spectronosodes. And then the H. pylori was just something here that, again, it's not in the active form, so we can hold off at this moment with this patient. But what we're just trying to do is keep it in our minds that, okay, there is something happening, and let's see what our treatments will do and if that will change. And then as you go down the list, we have another category, which is the allergens and toxins, which we talked about previously in the previous videos, looking at the stresses to the system overall in terms of lead, mercury, cadmium. Those are just contaminants that are stressing the systems and where they're found. So this is a summary of that, and also looks at food contaminants or food additives, and also energetic stresses in terms of geopathic stress like we see here, but also electromagnetic emissions, and seeing the coefficients and which areas of the body do they stress. So that's what it showcases here in terms of our summary for you, the patient, in order to take home to be mindful of. And here, of course, we're looking also at toxic load and allergies. And then in this case with this patient, we see that there's milk products can affect them, even though they weren't taking in any milk products. Maybe they were getting some contaminants in milk somewhere that was stressing the system because it was showing up here. And same thing here. Usually when you see alcohol here, unless they drink an excessive amount of alcohol, what this could mean is that if you're taking remedies like tinctures, other homeopathic drops that have alcohol and taking them straight in the mouth, it could irritate their throat. And you can see here that it's the trachea and bronchi that are affected by it, the chest organs in general, and the larynx. And that makes sense in terms of taking things orally directly. It could irritate if it's a high concentration of alcohol. And lastly, this is the list of recommendations overall that we had for this patient. Like we said here, we would make spectronosodes on sugar granules, which is the blank homeopathic pellets you would see. And we would make one which would include candida albicans and cruci. And we would make a specific other remedy that would be cytomegalovirus and herpes virus. And then also we would then make specific healthy organ support or healthy organ spectronosodes on these top three organs that we found that they need extra support. And this is more of the lymphatic kind of system, this is the adrenals, and this is the arteries in general too. And then also on top of that, based on kind of some of the results down here, we thought that they need some lymphatic drainage and they need also some help with their kidneys. So these would be two specific homotoxicology remedies that would be supportive of that, or drainage remedies. And then again, from our scan, we see that there are our top kind of outlook in terms of where we should look to kind of support, and these are the different things that we came up with. And then lastly, after that, if the patient is willing to go through the BRT process, the bioresonance therapy part, then we came up with a plan in terms of organs that we're going to support through bioresonance, and then organs that we're going to support through frequency compensation. And in the future video, you'll be able to see what that looks like. So this is, again, a summary of what we would have done during an analysis and what we came up at the end in terms of a conclusion. So I hope it was informative. I hope it helped.